Meanwhile, teenage climate activist Greta Thunberg recently protested outside of the White House. The Swedish teenager arrived in Washington to protest inaction on climate change.
Climate change has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. Climate change has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho. Climate change has got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho.
Now, hundreds of young people gathered outside the White House to join Thunberg in her protest. The demonstration is intended to pressurize Donald Trump's administration to check carbon emissions. And this comes days ahead of the United Nations Climate Summit, where world leaders will also be asked to ramp up their carbon-cutting ambitions. Remember, US President Donald Trump has openly questioned the science of climate change. He has also announced his intention to withdraw the United States from the Paris Climate Agreement. Now, Hong Kong continues to remain on the boil as the pro-democracy protests in the south in the financial hub have entered into their 15th week. The demonstrators took to the hills to form flashlights carrying human chains during the Mid-Autumn Festival. Gathering in large numbers throughout the territory, the protesters were seen singing and waving lanterns at the Victoria Peak and Lion Rock. But the pro-democracy activists also lined the path running along the north face of the peak, looking across the harbour. Now, the peaceful protest came during the Mid-Autumn Festival, when families traditionally gather to gaze at the moon and also eat moon cakes. The new wave of protests came after Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam promised to focus on housing and jobs to try to end the turmoil in the semi-autonomous city. And also on your screens is the aerial footage of the human chain made by the protesters. This is in complete contrast to the violence that erupted in the city over the last several weekends. Now, the anti-government protests have impacted Hong Kong for more than 3 months now. The protests have now evolved into a broader backlash against Beijing and also against the erosion of autonomy in Hong Kong.